Hey guys, Jimmy from the Game Grader taking a look at NCAA Football 11 for the PlayStation 3. A lot of new things to this year's game. We really like it. So here's a look at it. First of all, the new True School system that will add the uniqueness of each of the 120 schools in the game. It gives their offense, so the option in Georgia Tech and the quick no huddles in Missouri and places like Clemson. So that'll all be mimicked within the game. One of the new features is the online Dynasty. Dynasty and Road to Glory are pretty much the same, but the online Dynasty gives you a chance to take your Dynasty online. So you can control the recruiting of players and the distribution of news about your team. You can control that on a PC while you're at work, while you're at school, while you're on the go. It's also compatible with iPod Touch and iPhone, anything Wi-Fi enabled iDevices around in the world. One of the new things also, it's not too new, I guess I could take a new out of there, it's the ESPN broadcast packaging and all the designs, implementation in this game. They're really incredible. We'll get to that when I show you some of the gameplay that I actually did play. Here's a look at the roster share. This is basically EA Locker Room. If you're not familiar with it, this is how you download rosters that others create. None of my friends had one created, but you can input the online ID of somebody else, and that will get rid of the wide receiver number 6, and it will turn it into the actual player's name, and that's really a big thing for NCAA to help kind of legitimize it and give the players actual names. Just going through some of the menus here, and it's pretty much all the same in that regard. ESPN has branded everything. You can now get video packages and updates. You see the bottom line there at the bottom scrolling through soccer scores. That's all stuff that ESPN and EA have really teamed up together to make this a full-fledged experience. Now let's get into it. I'm an Ohio alum. I almost went with the Bobcats here, but I wanted to show you the 2009 Nike Pro Combat jerseys and the presentation of Ohio State. I decided to go a different route. So I ended up going with Ohio State to show you the new jerseys that you can unlock. You can unlock them in the demo if you haven't already. It will give you the ability to unlock new jerseys and things like that. But the presentation is why I went with Ohio State, and you'll see some of the pageantry of college football when we get to that point in the game. The broadcasting is the same. Brad Nessler, Kirk Herbstreit will be your broadcasters. Aaron Andrews will be on the sidelines. They got rid of Lee Corso because he's not really a play-by-play guy. He's not really a color guy. He more or less hosted the pregame show, so he kind of stepped back away from the in-game stuff, and he'll be found in some of the features in some of the titles on some of the formats. Here we are into the presentation. Everything is really great. This game actually has one of the best intro videos before you even get into anything that I've ever seen. It really got me pumped up, really got me loving college football. And college football in and of itself is all about passion, pageantry. I've said those words before, but this game does a really good job of capitalizing on all of that. All the game day things that you see, the mascots, the cheerleaders, the fans look really great. The fan models are repetitive, so you're not going to see a lot of variation there, but it's just great to see, and this is one of the coolest things. The walkout for these teams, and there's Ohio State linking arms just like they do on Saturdays. Really cool. Really cool. I think it just kind of it makes every game exciting. It makes every game the national championship, and the way they come out to all the fanfare, the band playing, the people cheering, the run out on the field. It feels like you're not playing a video game. It feels like you're really there. I know that's really cheesy to say, but Brutus Buckeye carrying the flag, that's a cool thing. And that's a really cool thing to have in a video game. And so it kind of, the presentation style, it's almost like you're either watching TV or you're there. And we'll get to some of the presentation stuff as we get into the game. If you notice the new linear lighting and self-shadowing that are both new this year to NCAA, the linear lighting gives EA the ability to change lightings based on the time of day, and it's such a more realistic look. This is probably one of the best games. Obviously Madden might change that when we get to August, but as of now, this is probably the best looking football game I have ever seen. The player models are gorgeous, the lighting is amazing, the self-shadowing is just a new thing that I never thought would ever happen in a video game, or at least for a couple years, but self-shadowing, they're just little things that make it look huge. There's a look at player lock. That's not a new thing, but I just showed you real quickly. It's not really a big difference, but the presentation in this game, there are new skies, new time of day, everything. The players don't look plasticky. The player models and skin are very, very good. And just from the presentation design graphic standpoint, this is one of the best NCAA titles I've ever seen. And I really mean that. I'm a really big fan of the series, but on top of that, this is a very, very good-looking game. Now, as for how it plays, this is when we get into locomotion stuff. Locomotion's the new, I guess you can call it the new presentation perspective. It gives you the locomotion engine, which will be a little more realistic, the way that tackles are finished, tackles are broken, and that teamed up with the two different stick controls that you now have. You have the ability to control players with the dual stick control. Instead of truck stick, it's about lean. You can juke in and out of jukes a little more fluid. It will look a lot more realistic. But the big problem with that, I've noticed, especially online, is guys will take fast players and just juke your lights out. Sometimes it's unrealistic, and sometimes it looks gorgeous. But there are some times when you can find a guy online, or you even master it yourself, where you can really take advantage of those dual stick controls. But see that right there, you're breaking into a tackle, you're wrapped, you're brought down. It looked realistic. The tackles aren't canned. Pretty much every one feels fresh, and based on the environment around them, the players involved, everything feels fresh. Here's a look as a stretch to the outside, as the double juke, one to the other. It looks fluid, but there are some times where people can really exploit the new engine, and sometimes online play can be rough. If you notice the fullback there, that's another new thing, is the intelligent blocking. The fullbacks, tight ends, and pulling guards and tackles will get into the secondary, block safeties, block linebackers, and really take care of business rather than waiting around for blocks. And so that's also another good thing. It kind of makes sense, but the intelligent blocking is a big addition into the game this year. There's a catch over the middle by the tight end. There's really not too much in terms of new modes. You saw the online Dynasty. That's really the only new mode this year. Everything else is pretty much the same. Having Aaron Andrews host the Road to Glory, it's great. You gotta love Aaron Andrews. But that's a good addition, being able to take her along with you there on the Road to Glory. Here's a touchdown pass. Go celebrate the mascot. That's nothing new. But here comes the new ESPN on-field replays, all the part of the broadcast package. You've never seen that angle before. You've never seen that angle before. And you've never seen that angle before. All brand new ways to look at the replays, all fresh. And it just basically looks like you're watching TV, the way things are broken down. The presentation, top-notch. The gameplay is also top-notch. There's a little fluky stuff with locomotion, a little fluky stuff with that dual stick control, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from a game. I mean, really, there's going to be some bugs and things like that. I could see some updates that maybe will fix the game. Sometimes some people say, and I agree, that out of the box that this game is a little bit faster than Madden and can maybe tone itself down a little bit. I agree, and maybe you'll see some updates that will slow the game down a little bit and make it feel a little more natural. But the pageantry, the presentation of this game, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You don't have to throw a bunch of new modes into it to make it good. A lot of people say, oh, it's the same game over and over again. There's no new modes, no new ways to play. Online is enough for me. Online Dynasties, that was a ton of fun, taking that with me to work and trying to recruit guys while I'm away from the system. It also makes things quicker. You don't have to worry about going through all these menus and things. That's your new way to play. That's your new mode, and that's a new reason to buy the game. But if you're a big fan of NCAA, everything's here, and everything's revamped. The locomotion, the dual stick, those are all good ways to make the game feel a little more natural. Tackles look more natural. The new replay and presentation modes are just gorgeous. I love it. Every game feels like the national championship. Every game is exciting. And those are all just huge things. Mascot mashups back. They added new mascots, a ton of new mascots. They have new stadiums. This is worth a purchase. I highly, highly suggest this. Even if this just gets you to Madden, this is worth a purchase. NCAA 11 for the PlayStation 3. It's a strong A. Love this game. Love college football. The presentation, I've said it over and over again. I love it. I think it's a really great game. You had a chance to see it here, the new lighting engine and everything. Go pick this up. A for NCAA Football 11. Thank you guys for watching. It's the Game Grader. I'm Jimmy Smith.